This is from Rafael in Sinimbu, Brazil. I think I'm talking like this because if I stop, my thoughts start getting louder. I don't really know what to say yet, so I'm just saying something. I'm trying to keep my voice steady, even though inside I feel anything but steady right now. I'm standing against a tree on higher ground. The water is rushing underneath me, and the road I was on earlier is completely gone. It doesn't look like a road anymore. It looks dangerous, and it looks like it's still getting worse, instead of slowing down. I keep telling myself to stay calm because panicking won't help me think clearly or make good decisions. I don't know if that's actually true, but repeating it gives me something to focus on. My arms already feel tired, and I can't afford to waste energy right now. I decided to record this instead of calling, because I was afraid of what would happen if someone answered. If I heard fear or panic in their voice, I think I'd lose control of mine. Recording feels safer, like I can stay composed a little longer. Earlier today, I was getting dressed for a wedding, worrying about being late and whether everything was ready. I remember laughing about small things that don't matter now. Thinking about that version of today feels strange, like it belonged to someone else entirely. I keep checking my phone even though nothing has changed and there are no new messages. I think I'm trying to track time, because time doesn't feel normal anymore. Minutes feel stretched out, but at the same time everything feels like it's moving too quickly. I think about my kids constantly. I picture their faces and imagine what they'd say if they could see me like this. I don't want fear to be the strongest thing they remember about me. I want them to remember me calm, even if I wasn't. When I think about my partner, I slow down and choose my words carefully. I don't want this message to scare her more than it already might. I want it to sound steady, like something she can listen to without immediately feeling like everything is falling apart. The water keeps rising slowly, not fast enough to force a sudden decision, but enough that I notice it every few minutes. I adjust my grip on the tree and keep telling myself that help has to be coming, even if I can't see or hear it yet. There are long moments where nothing changes at all. I just stand here, listening to the water and my breathing, trying not to imagine what could happen next. Waiting feels uncomfortable and heavy, but right now it feels safer than trying to move and making things worse. I keep listening for sounds that might mean help is close, but it's hard to tell what's important anymore. Everything sounds the same after a while. Water moving, wind, things hitting each other. I don't know which sounds matter and which ones don't, so I just stay still. I think about calling again or sending another message, but I stop myself. I don't want to repeat things or make it worse. I keep telling myself that one message is enough, that they don't need to hear my voice sounding more tired or unsure than it already does. My hands are starting to ache from holding on. I switch my grip slowly, trying not to rush anything. Every small movement feels like it needs to be planned. I didn't expect my body to feel this heavy this fast, and that thought keeps coming back. Just so you know, flooding is common in southern Brazil, especially in Rio Grande do Sul, but some floods rise far faster than people expect. In recent years, entire towns have been overwhelmed within hours, catching many residents and visitors completely off guard. Anyway, back to the story. I finish the message slowly, like the ending matters more than the rest. I tell them to take care of each other, even though I know they already do. I try to sound calm and practical, because that feels more useful than saying how scared I actually am. After I send it, there's this quiet moment where nothing happens. No reply, no signal, no change. I stare at my phone longer than I should, then put it away carefully, like it's something fragile I don't want to damage or lose. It's getting darker now, and the cold feels sharper than before. I shift my weight slightly and feel my legs shake. I didn't realize how tired I was until I stopped talking. Everything feels heavier when I'm not distracting myself with words. My thoughts start drifting to small things, ordinary things, conversations I didn't finish, plans I assumed I had time for. It surprises me how normal these thoughts feel, like my brain is trying to remind me that life was steady not that long ago. I try not to think too far ahead. I focus on breathing and staying where I am. I tell myself that worrying about every possible outcome won't help me right now. Staying present feels like the only thing I still have control over. There's a moment where I realize I'm very quiet, even inside my head. I don't know if that's calm or exhaustion. Maybe it's both. I stay where I am, holding on, listening, and waiting for something to change. My body feels heavier than before, like it's reminding me how long I've been holding on. I try to shift my feet slightly, just to get some feeling back, but I stop when it feels risky. Staying uncomfortable feels better than making a mistake. I think about how strange it is that I'm still here, still holding on, while everything around me looks unstable. It makes me wonder how many times in life I assumed things were solid when they really weren't. I never questioned the ground before today. At some point, I stopped checking my phone completely. It's not helping anymore. I don't need to know the time. I just need to stay awake and aware. Letting myself drift feels dangerous, so I keep repeating simple thoughts in my head. I picture my family hearing my message later, not knowing where I was when I recorded it. I wonder if they'll hear how carefully I chose my words. I hope they don't hear the parts where my voice almost breaks. There's a small part of me that wants to explain everything, to leave nothing unsaid, but another part knows that explaining doesn't always help. Sometimes it just adds weight. I decide it's better to leave things simple, even if that feels unfinished. The sounds around me change again, and for a second, I think it means something important. My heart speeds up, then slows down when nothing happens. I realize how quickly hope can rise and fall when you don't have much information. I start thinking about how people describe moments like this afterward, using words like brave or strong. Right now, it doesn't feel like either. It just feels like staying where I am and doing the best I can with what's in front of me. My grip tightens again without me thinking about it. My hands feel stiff, and I know they'll hurt later, if this ends the way I hope it will. Pain feels like something to deal with later. Right now, it means I'm still here. I wonder if this message will be listened to once or many times. I don't know which one would be harder. I don't know if hearing my calm voice will help them, or confuse them, or make things worse in ways I can't control. Everything feels quiet again, even though the water is still moving. I stay where I am and keep breathing, one breath at a time. I don't know what comes next, but for now, holding on feels like the only decision left to make. At some point, my arms don't feel like mine anymore. I notice it without reacting, like it's just another detail to keep track of. I remind myself to keep breathing and to stay where I am. Thinking too far ahead still feels like the wrong move. I don't remember exactly when the waiting ends. What stays with me is the stillness before it does. That quiet moment where everything feels suspended, like the world is holding its breath. I remember thinking that whatever happens next will matter, even if I'm not here to see it. Later, I imagine them listening to my message in a safe place far from the water. I wonder if they'll notice how calm I sounded, or if they'll hear the parts where I was trying not to say too much. I hope they hear love more than fear. I didn't get to explain everything. I didn't get to say all the things people think they'd say in moments like this. What I left behind wasn't perfect, but it was honest. It was the best version of myself I could manage in that moment. If you're listening to this, maybe you've held on to a message, or words you never sent. Maybe you've wondered if silence was the right choice. If this story stayed with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Your words might help someone else feel less alone. And if you want more real stories like this, consider subscribing.